Hey, I'm Nick Turturro, and you're watching Taboo's Comics and Kicks. Check it out.
Hola amigos, what's up everybody? Welcome to another edition of Taboo's Comics and Kicks. Okay, so this man that I'm very honored to have as my guest is, I want to say that I've grown to love and appreciate his advocacy for his city, his teams, and his love for family. I got to know him on a personal level. He had me on his podcast. And that's on a personal tip. This man's accolades for acting, television, film. I mean, this guy's he has an A game. And when I tell you, this man has been part of Do the Right Thing. He's been part of, you name it, Spike Lee movies. This guy is a key figure to representation. He's a proud Italiano, which I love. He's always advocating for New York City. And I'm proud that he married a Filipino woman. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my brother, Nick Turturro.
Thank you. Thank you for a beautiful introduction.
Thank you.
I liked it the way you phrased it as being a proud New Yorker and married to a Filipina,
Yep.
which I'm very proud of.
Yes, sir.
You know, I kind of fell in love with that culture. I don't know, it just happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you grow up and you're like, all you know is what you know. But as I got older, I branched out. And then I was like, in different worlds. And I was like, who knew,
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be open.
Of course.
Because when I was young,
I love the story about your pops coming from Italy at 6 years old, going to being a Navy guy, serving at D-Day. I had the opportunity to go to the cemetery and the museum. So it resonates with me because I'm a history buff. I love the idea of your father and your mother being so intrinsic to your evolution as an actor. Same thing with your brother, another freaking genius and icon. And your cousin, is it your cousin?
Aida.
Aida.
Yeah.
Amazing actress. I want to start with that. Let's start with your childhood. What was that like?
My childhood was very intense because my house wasn't like the Brady Bunch. We weren't the typical American family, even though sometimes I wish we were.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very dramatic, very interesting people, bigger than life people. Like my father, he didn't even know how funny he was, but he was also very intense. And then my mother was really like a beautiful lady, just smart. Everybody loved talking to her. I don't even know if I appreciated her, how amazing she was. And she was kind of a visionary. And, she would give you accolades, but she always gave you that confidence. You always knew she was behind you. And she was just smart. Her mother died when she was 5. Then she had a stepmother that died later on. I mean, her whole family was put in like homes. She grew up with like Irish nuns. I heard they used to beat her and stuff. But you never felt like she was wounded like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was so protective, I was kind of the last kid. I was the baby, and I was also a very nervous kid. I had a lot of issues as a little boy, and I used to run out of school in my first grade all the time. My father one time and my brother Ralph tied me to my chair in the first grade. Like, imagine that today.
Yeah.
They would never even allow that. Like, they came into the classroom. They didn't know how to break me of my fear. But I guess I was just afraid. I mean, imagine like, you're in your house and you're afraid what's going to happen, but you're 6 years old. And then they'd be looking for me in the neighborhood and they'd be like, there he is. I used to have a big hat. Imagine roaming the streets in the first grade today, you would have been abducted.
Yeah.
But that's how I grew up, and these people were just, I think I learned about theater and drama and in my house. In my house, I think we were movie buffs and stuff like that, but we weren't a show business family, but we were so affected by the people around us, even like my father. My brother grew big, my brother John, like, he thought I was never going to grow. So he'd say like, measure him. He doesn't eat, kitty. He doesn't eat. He's like, you're not like Big John.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to grow like Big John. But I didn't care to be big. I was never like hung up on my height.
Right.
So I grew slow. Like he put me against the wall and measured me. Like if I grew a half an inch, he'd be like, not bad, half an inch. He's growing a little, But these were the kind of people that, like even people would like to come over and eat with us because they'd say, your family, to eat with them. You never knew like what was going to happen. It was a little bit like honeymooners, Ralph Cramden, Alice, but they were real.
It was an experience, huh?
Yes, it was an experience to be in my family.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Like those kind of people, they stay with me. Sometimes I'll be thinking about my father I think about my mother, and I'll just like, I don't know what happens. I go to that place where, you know, my brother made a movie about my dad when he was a builder with his brothers. They didn't get along, called Mac. It's a very good movie. I was in it too. I played a very comedic role in it, but it was an old movie that won a Camera d'Or at Cannes. And my father was like a obsessive guy building. He didn't care about making money. He was more about everything had to be perfect, you know?
Meticulous.
Yeah, meticulous. And he was obsessive. He would, you know, go over and, you know, if you worked with him, he'd be like, you check it? Yeah, I checked it. Did you check it? I checked it. You check it? I checked it.
Yeah.
I checked. Don't, you know, and it was like, wow, the guy was just like, my brother has a lot of that in him. My brother John is like very much like, you know, say, you repeat yourself over and over, and I'm like, I repeat myself? You ever take a look in the mirror and see you opening and closing your wallet? I mean, these people like, and then my uncles.
You think it's OCD? A little bit of it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely OCD.
Yeah.
It definitely runs in my family. I mean, I don't think I have that much, but I do repeat myself. But, you know, you are who you are, you know, and those people, I always say I'm a cheap version of my father. Like I was Nicholas Turturro Jr. He was senior. He'd get the mail. He'd say, are you junior or senior? And I'd say, I'm junior because I'm senior. Make sure you put junior. Right. You junior? Yeah, I'm junior. I just said it. I'm senior. Make sure it's junior. You know?
He would just keep repeating it.
Keep repeating. It was like a comedy routine. You know, now when I think about it, I giggle and laugh because,
Of course.
you know, my son is Nicholas Turturro III. He's even more watered down. So I'm like, you know, I mean, it's just the way it is.
Watered down, is that true?
Oh, man. Not Nicky.
Not Nick. You're double.
Oh,
Who
man,
looks
that
like
guy-
you.
that guy's
you know,
a
he
beautiful
looks.
soul,
I know,
man.
like you guys look more related than me.
Right.
It's so funny. I guess it's that combination
It
and
is that
indigenous.
combination, yeah.
And then, you know, like Italians too. Like when we got a mixture too, because I got the high cheekbones, and we found out, you know, this 23andMe stuff. They went back in our family. We got a few people that snuck in. So we're not, you know, pure. You know, we're mostly Italian, but, you know, we got some Hispanic in us. We got definitely some flavor. So I always knew that because we all had kinky hair. I mean, found my yearbook there. They had an afro, man. We had afros, me and my brother.
And this is in Brooklyn, New York, ladies and
Queens.
gentlemen. Queens.
Yeah.
Right?
Born in Brooklyn, but grew up in Queens. Yeah, proud of that. But, you know, I mean, so like you say, talk about my parents, my family is a big part of, I think, who I am. I think you don't realize that growing up and like even becoming a performer, an actor, the creativity, it was in me. I just didn't know in what area, but I always knew it was kind of part of me. And then, you know, it came out slowly here and there. And I felt that I used to sing when I was young, and I thought I was going to be like a
What
crooner.
did you sing?
I used to sing like ballads, like, you know, I sang
Give
like,
us an example of what you
I
used
sang
to
like
sing.
My Way. I sang like Sinatra
Frank
stuff.
Sinatra,
I
yeah.
sang like some,
Can we get a little
Perry
My
Como?
Way of Sinatra?
well, you know, I mean, I could,
I could
Come on,
belt some
come
stuff
on.
out.
Let's hear it.
I could
Let's bring it back.
let's see, a little bit of My Way, why not? And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I have lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way.
Hey.
I see where Nicky gets it from.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I mean, you know,
Did you ever get to meet Frank?
no, I never did.
Okay.
And I wanted to, but I went to see him later in life with my friends. We rented like a stretch limo in
Is this
the
in Vegas?
New York, right?
York.
Radio City
Nice.
Music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be a doorman at a hotel. My friends that were bellhops, and where we like got a limo, we went to Radio City and saw Frank live, and you know, it was thrilling because when I was a little kid, I like wrote to him, and they send you a picture, and my mother would say, "See, he signed the picture," but you don't know if he really signed it. But my mother always made us believe that, and I listened to all his records, and so I was very affected by Frank. And I mean, Frank is like iconic guy. He's a very, very interesting, dark human being. I don't know if you know, like Frank, like, you know, helped a lot of people, and he never took credit for it, but he had a big heart. Like if you were his friend, he took care of you, and he fought for a lot of people. He fought
Sammy
for people
Davis.
of color. He fought for for civil rights. I mean, Frank was a huge figure, not only in music, but in movies and politics. I mean, but he's also like a very dark guy too. And he has if you read his book, his mother is the one that kind of shaped him.
He was dark in what way, which way? Like, which way was he dark?
Well, he was dark in the sense that, he was complicated. He was a complicated guy. And I think it's also why maybe he was so brilliant,
True.
I just think that he was a tough guy. And not like what to say with his hands, but he stood up for things and he fought for people. But I think the darkness is, it's hard to define which way when you say that. Because sometimes you might say, that guy's a dark guy. And you might say, how? There's layers to it, and it's kind of, if you look at him and you watch his music and you watch him sing a song, you can kind of see it because in his songs, they're almost like storytelling. He takes you for a ride. His phrasing and listen to all the eras that he went from the 30s to the 40s, the 50s, 60s. He bottomed out, came back, was relevant in his older age in his 70s, 80s. So Frank, it was decades of, really amazing stuff that Sinatra isn't just a one-trick pony. You know what I mean? I mean,
he was in his bag for sure. And one of the things, Nick, that I appreciate about you being here is your storytelling and the fact that you've done so much on film and television. So right now I'm going to take this opportunity to go into my bag. I have a special bag that I bring on set, and I pull out items, nostalgic items from our childhood, different eras. They're toys, collectibles, things that resonate with me, but also maybe it resonates with you. So I want to hand you an item, and you talk about that item, what it means to you, a cool story, or something that it represents. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So keeping in the 80s, the first item I'm going to give you is something that's special to me because we just celebrated his birthday.
Oh, wow.
I like that smirk. I like that smirk.
We know what you love to dodge.
Valenzuela. 1981 World Series.
Yes, sir.
Man, he brought back the Mexican community
Yes, sir.
to the Dodgers because you know that whole story, how they were
Chavez Ravine, yep.
displaced and kicked out of there.
Yeah.
And this guy was, he was a phenom. You know what I mean? I mean, the Dodgers have had a lot of great stories, but Valenzuela, wow. Just emotion, everything. The head jerk. I mean, he was kind of like
the sky when he would pitch.
Up to the sky, a little like Louis Tiant, if you remember Louis Tiant.
Yeah.
Great Cuban guy. But yeah, number 34. I actually have a Valenzuela jersey. I collect jerseys. So I found it one day and I was like, is that one of your favorite Dodgers?
I mean, bro, growing up in LA, that was like representation for me as a Mexican kid growing up in Boyle Heights.
You have a jersey?
I do have a jersey. I got it signed by his daughter because I never got to meet Fernando.
Yeah. And he passed away recently, right?
Yes, sir.
How old was he?
Not too old. It was.
Yeah, I got to meet him once.
You did?
Yeah, and he signed a baseball for me. I caught him coming out of the press box after a Dodger game.
Yeah.
And, just Mr. Valenzuela, big fan.
81, that's when I think about it because they played the Yankees.
Yes, sir.
It was a half season that year, 2 different seasons, and they actually beat the Yankees that year. They were down 2-0.
We beat the Yankees a lot, though.
Huh?
We beat you guys a lot.
You have?
Yeah, last year, too.
Yeah, last year. I was there. Don't
He
remind
was.
me.
I saw his
I was there.
Instagram. He was lit up.
Yeah, I blew up in the first game because that's when they lost the series. He was at the first game, my son.
Yeah.
You were here in LA game one.
I went to the ones in New York. I was at the debacle.
Yeah.
Well, we were up 5-0, and then I made the mistake of going to this restaurant. I never leave my seat just to pee.
Yeah.
No, I didn't leave. I had these dumb rich seats, and I said, it's 5-0. Let me take advantage to go eat some food.
Get a
and
bite,
then, it started unraveling in front of my face on the TV. I said, I better run back out there and stop the bleeding. I thought I could stop it. Right? That's how crazy I am thinking. And I almost
So
did.
did Drake. Drake thought he could do it, too.
Well, it was 5-0. Bases loaded. He struck out Ohtani, struck out Lux. And then Mookie Betts hits a little scribbler. And the other guy's sitting back on the ball, Rizzo, and the pitcher doesn't cover. He goes like this.
Yep.
And I said, we lost. And it was only 5-1 with the good
You
runs.
knew at that moment.
I knew.
Yeah.
See, with baseball, I could see everything happening. It's almost a gift. And people go, "You're nuts," and I go, "No, I'm not. Watch, just watch. Watch this baseball guard that popped out."
Do you miss the old Yankee Stadium?
Yes, I'm not a big fan of that place.
All right,
but I like it.
Fernando, next one.
Rocky Balboa.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God! But which Rocky is this? This doesn't look like the original Rocky.
It's the only piece that was available.
Wow.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be too picky. I just wanted to bring
Okay.
something that was available.
No, and the original Rocky came out in 1976. I went to see it, I think, 13 times. I think I knew every line in the movie. I knew the whole movie. I even drank raw eggs one time. I tried it, and I didn't get sick, thank God. I really loved Stallone. It was a shame that he just he went so commercial with it, I almost worked with him one time.
What movie?
It was the movie where it was about all the cops that were living in, they were living like across the river in New Jersey, and they were all New York cops, and they were all crooked. Copland. Yeah, I was supposed to be.
I know it, but I've never seen
Copland.
it.
Yeah, I was supposed to be in it. Then it was taken away from me. That happens. A buddy of mine campaigned, and he got the part. I wasn't bitter about it. It's just I thought I was going to be in a movie with Stallone and De Niro and all these guys, Keitel.
Oh,
and I would have.
You're perfect for that.
Oh, I was perfect for it. My friend, he was a little bit of a more political kid. He used to campaign. He had to deal with Miramax, and I don't even have to say his name, but he's a friend. And he got the part, and then
You got to go through the cast on that film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've always liked him. I always liked Stallone. There's something about him. I remember Lords of Flatbush, this movie he did before Rocky.
Yeah.
And he was really, really good in it. He was really good.
You like Rambo Stallone?
Young Stallone.
Yeah, young Stallone I liked. Did
You
I
like Rambo Stallone?
Did I like Rambo?
Yeah.
I liked First Blood.
First Blood was great.
Yeah.
Blood,
I
yeah.
like when he was younger because he was more vulnerable. Like you watch Rocky, the original Rocky, and it's he was so vulnerable. His face, and he was handsome. I was so obsessed with that movie. I used to try to recreate some of the scenes with this girl in high school. I used to be I was doing a play in high school, and I would want to create scenes with some of the actresses. And they'd be like, "Oh, you just want to kiss me?" I go, "Yeah, I do," but I go, "Let's do the scene,"
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've really never. I actually passed me once when I was a doorman. He was barely said hello, and I was this guy, man, he disappointed me.
Disappointed me. All right, let me.
All right. I love that. These are great.
So my brother Nick is a friend. He's family. So I want to be able to gift him something that he's gonna cherish because I know it's from the heart, and I know that you're gonna love it when you open it up. That's for you.
Oh my God. That's so sweet of you, man.
Sneakers. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow. These are so, oh my God.
Yes, come on, bro.
Oh
The
my
captain.
God. Captain.
Come on, man.
Derek Jeter. Oh my God. I love you. Oh, I love you, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Hey, Derek. And he follows me too.
That's awesome.
I got your kicks, bro.
Yep.
Oh my God. Size 10?
Yes, sir.
Are
10
they
and a
the
half.
11 lows?
10
Is that what they
and a
are?
half. Oh
11
my
lows?
God.
11 lows.
Can't see. Have you met Derek before?
Never met Derek Jeter.
I met him. I met him once too.
Yeah.
He invited me to his Players Tribune party,
these kicks,
and it was dope.
Shout out to Nicky for his store. I know he's got his sneaker spot. I love that it says respect right there.
Oh yeah.
His brand.
Yeah.
Normally it would say Jordan right there, right?
Well, you got the J in the back and the number 2 in the back, but it says respect.
Those are sick though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're dope.
That's insane, man.
These are collectibles.
Thank you so much.
man.
I don't even know if I want to wear these now.
Is he the
Don't.
greatest? Is he
Just
the
keep
greatest
'em up on
Yankee
your,
ever?
Yeah.
Your memorabilia.
Yeah. I think this is one. Just keep it, right? Don't.
Is
You know
he
what I
the
mean?
greatest Yankee ever?
Is he the greatest Yankee ever? Oh, that's a big statement. I'd have to say he's one of the most famous. He would be in the probably top 5.
When
Yeah.
did this Yankee obsession start? When you were a teenager, a kid, like
kid.
elementary school?
1973.
Okay.
I went with my friend Julius Pacheco to the original Yankee Stadium with the Boy Scouts of America. And I think it was May or June, and I compare it to when I saw my wife on the plane and I looked at her. And she looked at me. Not that she felt the same, but something happened.
She's like, "What's this weirdo
Yeah.
looking at?"
What flight was
excuse
it,
my
Nick?
French.
What flight?
It was Continental, and it was in Newark, and I never fly to Newark, and I was just newly on NYPD Blue. My whole life was changing. Went from a doorman, part-time actor, to being on the biggest show on TV. And, I was complaining like on the way to the airport. Oh, man. I was thinking about it like it's fate.
Yeah.
And I was with somebody else too, which is weird. That's another story, but I won't go into that. But, we came on the plane together. But she was in coach, I was in first. But something told me I had to meet her. I had to meet her when I saw her. It was just like something happened. The same thing with Yankee Stadium. Like I walked in and it was mesmerizing. I went to a Met game, I think at 72. Didn't get that feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't get that reaction. But when it's love at first sight, and it was. It was. The Yankees weren't even that good. They had Bobby Mercer, they had Thurman Munson, but they were like kind of beaten down. They just got bought by George Steinbrenner from CBS for $10 million. Steinbrenner somehow can, he
$10 million.
Imagine
But at that
that.
time, he was probably crazy. Like, you paid $10 million.
Yeah.
Looking
For the
back.
Yankees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just was able to get the majority. He had to get a lot of people together. Imagine what an investment that was. But anyway, I started going that year. I was like, wow, I went to ball day, cap day, and my friend Pacheco took me. And, the Bronx was kind of scary then because it was like because I looked Puerto Rican, I felt safe because there was all Boricua there. So I was like, I just felt like I knew like, this is it, man. I'm starting to fall in love with the game. My family knew boxing, basketball. They didn't know nothing about baseball. I remember watching the World Series 71, seeing Roberto Clemente on NBC, and went to a Met game 70. But 73, it started to like hit me. I was like, wow, I started educating myself. Then they played at Shea Stadium with the Mets in 74, 75. So then I started really going to a lot of games and started becoming a bigger and bigger baseball fan. Then they reopened the refurbished Yankee Stadium on the same ground. So it still had that aura. It still had the overhang. It was the same shell, And then they won a pennant in 76. They hadn't won one in 12 years, 64 to 76. And then I jumped on the field when they won the pennant. I was a kid and I ripped out grass. I was running with the grass, took it home. I planted it in my backyard. So
That's a true story.
It's a true story. Yeah. So my friend, game 5 against the Royals, Yankees, it was 6-6. It was 6-3. And then George Brett hits a home run. It's 6-6. I remember this shit by it happened yesterday. And then Chambliss hits the home run and the place explodes. And it wasn't planned. It was organic. We just jumped from left field. I was running like out of body. Like I came out of my body. Like sometimes you come out of your body.
Yeah.
Maybe you felt like that on stage where you were like, oh shit,
Definitely.
I'm out of my body. And I'm looking up at the stadium and it was like, wow, I've arrived. And so, but I would say it started, in the early
Elementary.
70s, and it started on my own, and then I got my family involved, people involved, and I started, becoming really, fanatical and very emotional. At times it would go wild and turn over couches and I wouldn't come out. My parents would be like, kids would be like, let him calm down. He's depressed right now. He'll be okay in a little while. Everybody knew it meant a lot to me. So that's when it all started. But, it just happened on my own, which was really like, I didn't jump on a bandwagon because they were the Yankees. I knew nothing about the Yankee history. I had to educate myself. Now I do.
Who are the top 5 ever?
Yankees?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to say Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, different eras, Mickey Mantle, for me, Thurman Munson, and then I put Derek Jeter in there in the 90s.
Captain.
Yeah.
I love that. Let's stay in that. I love what you said about meeting your wife, but also the NYPD Blues.
Yeah.
Talk about what it took to get that role, because I know that you've done film, but television, to have a consistent gig like that. Let's talk about that space.
Yeah, I didn't really know what that meant until I got it. And then even when I was in it, I almost didn't even get an audition for that show. The year before, I had booked a pilot, which is kind of a big deal. It was a sitcom, and that's like a big deal to get a pilot, because sometimes if they like you, you have to go for a test and all this stuff. I remember I was still on the door and my agent goes, they're going to test you. You got to fly out tonight. I didn't even like to fly. And then I got on the plane, almost missed the plane. They opened with a key. And then I got this pilot. And then I had an experience. The show didn't get picked up, which means it didn't become a series. They'll spend like a lot of money on a pilot. Then the networks decide which. So I was figuring, that was my one experience in Hollywood. I went back to the door, but I didn't think, I would never get another show, but I was like thinking, maybe that was my shot, It didn't happen. Then a year later, my agent was telling me about this series. He goes, but I'm having a hard time getting you in because they only want to see like truly Hispanic. The woman was like trying to blocking me, the casting lady. Mm-hmm. People are like that. They're like, well, I know he can pass for this, pass for that, but we're seeing just, truly Hispanic actors. And so he went around her. All the producers were in New York, and the LA lady was the main casting lady. They were like, you go see this kid Nick, because I guess he's, he's ethnic. So I didn't even know. He's like, I got you in. And it was at the Gulf and Western building, and Stephen Bochco, David Milch, Greg Hoblet, all these guys. They were like kind of the big, like they were like you were playing for the Yankees at that time. They were big in television. And then I think I threw a sweater over me, and I didn't even know how big of a show. I didn't know Hill Street Blues. Right. I knew the name Bochco. And then after the audition, they were like, they loved you, man. They loved you. But they want to know, are you part Spanish? Do you have Puerto Rican, Mexican? I go, I don't know. Tell them anything. I mean, I find out years later I am part Spanish. Mm-hmm. But I was like, they're not going to give it to me because of that. They tortured me for he was like, don't worry, honey. You're going to get it. And I was like, stop it. I got sick that winter. I was like waiting. Then finally he was like, you got it. They're giving it to you. And then I was like, okay, and I was like, wow, maybe this is my shot. And then I says, well, I'll just resign as being a doorman. I'll give this acting thing a full chance. We did the pilot or two, and then I moved out to LA, and I had no idea. I didn't even know I didn't know how good it was. I remember when I got the tape for the pilot, I was at Rhode Island, and they sent me a VHS, and I showed it to these college kids. You're not supposed to do that kind of shit. It didn't even air. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, guys, I was doing this independent movie. You want to see this TV show I'm in? Check it out. It's pretty far out, And I just remember being like a nervous wreck. I was like, everybody was really seasoned. I had only been acting a couple of years, but I had done some stuff.
And your brother had already...
Yeah, my brother was kind of cemented.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He was on the way up. So this was like my big... And then the show, premiered, and then the show was a big hit.
Big hit, yeah.
And then they were like, we love you in it too. And they were like, well, I didn't even really kind of know what I was doing. I was just like, everybody was so good. I was like, I just didn't want to suck. I was like, I just, let me hold my own here, because I could tell like these guys, they set the bar high, and I worked hard, but I was... like a very innocent character. I just played it like a virgin. And I guess they liked that about me, and so it was exhilarating when it premiered, and then the show got numbers, and then they were like, whoa, we're picking you up. And I go, I thought I was already picked up. I didn't know, I had 7 out of 13, which meant if they didn't really care for the character, they could have dumped me within they could have been one and done. But then they said, you're gonna be in the opening credits, and then the show's a hit for the first 13. It's gonna get picked up for the full season, which was 22. And so much was happening that, at that time, I was like, wow. I was just kind of going along. I remember one producer goes, hey, don't unpack your bags. I said, who said anything about unpacking them? I just got here. I wasn't thinking about the results. I was just trying to be in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that was smart, because then the show was big hit, got nominated for Emmys. I got an Emmy nomination. My mother goes, you got nominated. And I was like, what? I met my wife that year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the earthquake, almost got killed in the earthquake. A lot of crap happened. And my first date with my wife was, I took her on the Fox lot. It was closed. I met her on the plane, and she finally gave me her number. And then I took her for a date on the Fox lot when it was closed, and we just sat in front of the commissary. That was our first date in front of this.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, it was kind of cool,
It is cool.
And then she played Luis Miguel for me in the car. This Spanish. Miguel. Yeah, I didn't know who he was. I became a fan.
Yeah.
She liked all the Spanish stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm driving my little orange Cabriolet, and I drove her back to the But you know, that first year was really, really special. And then bonded with David Caruso. He was great on it. He kind of was mentoring me, and he was like, dude, I go, am I okay? Am I okay, David? The beginning, you asked, and he was like, okay. He goes, you're beautiful, man. Beautiful. You got something so like naked, and you like so like, I think that's what they liked about me. They were like, when you said that one line, I said, what did I say? I said, and they were like, I'm up for that. Okay, detective. Whatever, like little lines here and there. But it was, I didn't really know. Sometimes you do things just by accident, or not by accident, by just observing. I was even though I was newly at it for a couple of years, I was a good learner, and I was able to like, listen and take direction well. And, even one of the producers goes, you make a lot out of nothing. It was really exciting. I mean, anything that's new, a new relationship, like you're saying, like a new, when I became a Yankee fan, it was like meeting my wife. Then like that first season was like, it was the birth of something.
How many seasons was there?
It went like 12. I was there 6.5, but that first season was really thrilling. And I don't think I realized how, because at that time, network television was huge.
Yeah.
Today, network television has taken a beating because of streaming, all this. Yeah. It's not the same. But back then, if you were on TV, everybody knew who you were, man. They knew who you were, and they knew what show you were on, because people made a point to go home and watch it. It wasn't like today, So
what's that royalty like, Nick?
It was pretty good. Like? I couldn't retire on Hidden Man, unless I had been like on Friends or one of those shows. Those people stuck together,
no doubt.
And they not only got famous, they got rich,
bro.
But it's okay, man. Yeah. You can't put a price tag on art. You can't put a price tag on what you did in your life. Because a lot of times you forget like what you've done, and then you go, I've actually done a few things in my life, but you forget. And then when you go back, you look at those things, you go, yeah, how did I do that? Or whatever. Like, where was I mentally? When I look back at things I've done, and I go, I don't know if I could do that today, but I could do other things today.
How did you get through working on a cast like Longest Yard with all those stars?
That was another thing.
Right? You got Adam you got Burt Reynolds coming back, the original Longest Yard.
Yeah.
You've got Chris Rock. You've got fucking
that
Nelly.
Was an all-star cast.
All-star cast. Was were you nervous showing up for day one of work?
Yeah, it was, there was a lot of testosterone on that show, on that movie. And then I was thrilled to have gotten a job. And then my brother, told me, he said, listen, you go in there with a character. He's going to see that you're funny. Because I had these comedy pilots after NYPD. I almost got my own series. A couple of bad breaks that didn't get picked up. I developed 2 comedy pilots that were really, really funny. One should have got on, but that's another story. But anyway, when I got in that movie, he said, if Sandler sees you're funny, he's gonna pick up on it. He's gonna really like, you watch. And so I kind of like went in there got a crazy haircut, and I kind of like, and I remember the first scene, I had a little something to do. I didn't have that much to say, but I said something like, you're half a meatball. I don't know what I said. And I kind of like, Sandler would go off camera and watch, and he'd be like, dude, man, you're funny. He goes, you're going to kill. You're going to kill in this movie. And I'm thinking, I didn't have enough really to kill with, but he kept adding stuff. Every little scene he threw, have Turturro say this, have Nick say that, have him do this. And every time he handed me the ball, I just scored. I scored, and I almost broke my foot. I fell off this guy's back. Bob Sack, the guy that says, you broke my nose. I fell off his back. I did half of the movie in I was walking around with
Is he that big in real life?
Oh, he was huge.
He looks massive in the
Yeah,
movie.
Oh, they were huge. I mean, I didn't go in the shower with these guys. They were like Michael Irvin. Come on, Nicky, come on, get in the shower. I was like, that's all right. I'll keep whatever manhood I have left. I'm not going to be walking around with these guys. You know what I'm saying? They're giants on every level. And I'm like, that's it. I'm going off to my trailer while they're getting high or whatever they were doing. So I was locked in. But I kind of knew, like, whatever it was, you just know sometimes certain projects, certain times where you're like, you're on it. And I knew I was onto something in that movie. And then, when we saw the movie, and one of the producers, like, I think you steal the movie, man. I said, was a lot of people in the movie. I wasn't thinking like that was going to stand out. But it was such an ensemble. There was room for people to always shine. And thanks to Adam, Sandler, he let me shine. And, I made the most of it. It was a fun experience.
It's funny because he just talked about the shower scene, and then one of my favorite guilty pleasures on the road is watching I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry, and seeing this man with Ving Rhames and all these amazing actors from the Adam Sandler camp. Like, talk about first of all, he saw something in you on Longest Yard, and then to bring you in the fold on that movie, which is like, it was comedy, but it was also cool to see everybody that was committed to that film. Talk about that film.
Yeah, I mean, I got that film because of The Longest Yard, because I proved myself in that. So then he called me. He's like, "You ready to do another one?" I was like, "Yeah, great." I was so happy that, he wanted to use me again and bring me into the fold, because he's got his own gang of people.
Yeah.
I wasn't like in his club, but definitely became a fan, and he was then a fan of mine. So that was a lot of fun. In fact, that shower scene, that was exhausting.
hilarious.
That was exhausting. I remember inviting the kids that day. They were little.
Yeah.
And I think that was the wrong day to invite them, because, they were, all the guys were like, "Hey, kids, go off to the side."
Yeah.
And I was in that shower all day. And he was like, I remember at the end of the day, he was, "You tired? You tired, kid?" I'm like, he calls me kid. And I was like, yeah. He goes, you could go home now. You could go home. Because, like when it's a Sandler movie, there's people in charge, but he's really the boss. And, but he's such a, he's
Is
such
he a good guy?
He's such a good guy, man. He's such a
You
good guy.
seems like a
sense it,
really
but
good
I
guy.
don't
Yeah.
know him. Is he that way off screen?
He is pretty much that way. You're not going to always meet people that
Yeah.
big and that powerful that still are like very, down to earth.
Normal.
We could text each other about the Yankees or whatever.
cool.
And Sandler's,
Are you really good friends with him now?
I'm pretty good friends
You
with
can
him. Yeah.
FaceTime him right now.
I mean, I don't know if I could FaceTime.
Would
I
he
could text
answer?
him. I
I
text
mean, we
him
want to
sometimes.
meet him. I mean, we're big
Yeah.
fans.
I know he's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I've seen him at a couple WrestleManias.
I text them, and we texted during the playoffs this year. I had Johnny Manziel was with us, and then I think we were able to get him on at time, but on the FaceTime or something. But it isn't always the easiest. But he's definitely a good dude, and he's become, man, a great actor. I mean, he's really like, from a comedic type actor, he's become a real. I mean, he's done a couple of movies me and my son are obsessed with, like Uncut Gems.
Uncut
I mean,
Gems is so
incredible.
good.
Movie.
Incredible.
My boy KG's in that movie.
I mean, KG is incredible. I like him. I like him a lot.
Even though he's a Celtic, I love him.
Yeah, but I don't hold that against him.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
He knows it. But give us a moment with you and maybe Adam that people don't know about, maybe behind the scenes of either film that you worked with him on.
With Sandler? A funny moment was with Derek Jeter, because he set me up on Chuck and Larry. I didn't know I had this red suit. They were having a wedding. Ving Rhames is marrying the other guy.
Right.
What's his name? Swartzen. They were getting married.
Oh, Nick Swartzen, yeah.
And I didn't know that Jeter was there, because Jeter was going through his dating period. Now, at the time, I guess he was courting, what's her name? Jessica Biel. He was courting her, but I had no idea.
The whole roster?
Yeah, he remembers. My
He had a
brain's like
roster.
half gone. So
It was a pretty good roster.
yeah. So Sandler goes to me, hey, Nicky, come over here. I want to talk to you. So I thought it was one of these, he's going to give me a bit. It's an acting note, and they have Video Village. You know what that is, have all the video, they go and watch the
Screens,
playback like you guys do when you're making videos. And I'm thinking, we're going by, and I see his manager, Sandy Werner. And I say, "Hey, Sandy." And then, you see a face there like it's Taboo. And you don't know. And then you do a double take.
And it's Derek
And it was Jeter. And I go, "Derek Jeter." I was like, I just like fucking lost it. And the whole set is dying laughing.
That's funny.
He's giggling. I said, "Sorry, dude." I said, I had no idea you were here. I said, "You don't know what you mean to me." I said, "You understand? You have no idea what you mean." I said, but I'm fucking freaked out. I gotta walk off. And I walked off with the red suit. He comes outside. He goes, come here.
That's funny.
He had his homeboy with him. He goes, "Man, I heard you're a big Yankee fan, all this stuff." I said, yeah. I said, "I didn't know you were there." He goes, "Man, you got to come out to the stadium." He goes, "I like that red suit." I mean, he would have never worn that red suit. But it was so funny. Then he was in the trailer hanging out with Jessica. I called up my wife. I said, "Bring the kids down." They were little. Nick comes down, and we're waiting hours for him to come out. And Sandler goes, you lost it. I go, "I lost it." I go, "You set me up, I didn't know it was Jeter." They were dying. And then, he came out, took pictures with the kids, and he took a picture with me in the red suit. And I don't know if he still remembers that. He might. I mean, now he knows of me as being a wild, wild Yankee fan. And that's come because me and my son has helped blow me up as this social media guy, you know, but I'm not a social media guy. It's just that I watch the Yankees. I'm passionate. I know what I'm talking about. So now the world thinks I'm like this. I'm the Yankee guy. Even though the Yankees don't support me, I am the Yankee guy.
What do you mean they don't support you?
Well, I'm a little too wild for them.
They won't give you a ticket to the game?
No, they will. But
Okay.
but they don't like really endorse me because I'm critical. I don't
There's
show
no
can
filter.
come, just
No.
not.
filter. Yeah.
I'm not working for them. I'm rooting for the uniform.
Yeah.
So if they hired me and said, hey, Nick, you know, like even, you know, people say they should look at you as an asset, not a guy because you're critical. But they don't want that. They want nice. They want Disneyland. I'm not there for that. I'm
Who's
there.
our Dodger version of him? I mean, probably Kike as a player, but
Yeah, Kike. Of
but
Yeah.
He
non-player.
doesn't give
who
a
would-
fuck, dude. Kike Hernandez is like
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, what was that? I was just chatting with him on online. So he's like a real dude. Like
He is
we
a
need
real dude, yeah.
we
Did
need
you get
guys
the-
like
did
that
you
on
get the screenshot I sent you of my
Yeah,
conversation
that was
with?
great.
Yeah.
I hit him and I've said in quotations, October's very own. Never change, bro. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
great.
I like that kind of guy. And it's refreshing to see a player like that that's almost like me. You know, it's like it's pure passion, pure love. I'm like, I heard we were supposed to do something with Jazz Chisholm. I heard some of the guys didn't want me in the locker room. I'm like, these guys are wusses, man. You know, I have nothing but love for you.
Yep.
I have nothing but deep love. If I yell a little bit towards you, it's cause what I'm watching. I watched Bill Parcells' video of him screaming at Lawrence Taylor. That's what it's about. Tough love. I'm sorry. I'm not down with that, but I'm going to still be rooting. I don't need to go in your locker room. I don't need to be in there. I'm still going to be a Yankee fan. At the end of the day, I'll be a Yankee fan when you're long gone. I was a Yankee fan before you even put on the uniform. So, you know what? Embrace me if you want. If you don't, that's fine too. But if I worked for them and they said, hey, Nick, you know, just calm down, whatever, there's certain things you can't do, then okay, then I would curb myself. I can't curse or I can't do the, fine, but I'm not going to change who I am because that's what the fans like about me. Dodger fans now love me.
Yep.
Yankee fans love me. Other people, Blue Jay, because then like they know that I throw down real. I'm not just some celebrity. They get these celebrity guys. I don't want to name them, but they're not even on my level. They're not even close to what I do. Because anybody that knows me understands that this stuff is deep. This is like a big part of my life. Sometimes my wife wants to almost like throw me out the house.
Well,
but
that's what I love
another
about
story.
Nick. Nick is not only is he a great freaking actor, he's also a family man. And I want to commend you for that, Nick.
Thank you.
I love seeing you and your son together. I love the relationship you guys have because when I got to meet him during the Big Love video and got to know him as a person, got to meet your wife, amazing wife, and you know your daughter, Apollonia, Erica. I just wanted to say that, you know, the one thing that resonates with me is your humility. Yes, you're loud, but I love that about you. And I love that you don't give a fuck, dude. You have no filter, which is beautiful because you say how it is. You keep it a buck with everyone. And that's what people love about you. Maybe they might not get it, but at the end of the day, like I, as a friend, appreciate you. I know we're going to do your pizza delivery joint right now. So let's touch on that before we go and sign off. Talk about the pizza joint, please.
Yeah, well, the pizza thing has become a thing that, you know, I've got involved with Prince Street Pizza. Became friends with a couple of the owners. And then I became part of this one store that's I would show up at the openings. I was like a pizza ambassador. Like every time they have an opening, it's have Nick come. He's the good luck. He's the good luck. And then we were always throwing some ideas around. I said, what would be really interesting is if I showed up with pizza, delivering people, you know, like a pie, you know, like, hey, man, Nick Turturro comes to the door. Wow, what are you doing? I'm here, man. I'm delivering you a pie. You know what I mean? I'm delivering you some happiness. So we said, this could be something funny, you know? And so we've kind of like played with the idea. And then at the beginning, I was thinking, man, maybe it's like just a commercial for the show or for the pizzeria. But then I was like, what is this really about? Is it really about the pizza? And then I figured out it's not really about the pizza itself. The pizza is just the way in. You know what I mean? I like hanging out with people. People like hanging out with me. They like going to games with me. They'll be like, I like just being with you. So I've gotten that from they're like, when I'm with you, it's just fun. So I'm like, that's what the show is about. Just me showing up and whatever fucking happens, happens. If it's funny, it's funny. If it's sad, it's sad. If it's, you know, like we've been doing some stuff with this guy Godfried, but it's turned into sketch con. But that's a different story. But everyone is different, you know? And so I love pizza. Like, to me, everybody's like, give Nick a piece of pizza. I've been a pizza guy way before Dave Portnoy. Rated pizza, you know? So it's part of my DNA. It's like the Yankees, pizza, making love. But these are the things that I love. You know what I mean? You know, I'm just saying, like, these are the things I'm passionate about. Give me a good slice of pizza. I am so happy. You know what I mean? And when I get it right, man, I can, you know, it's like I never get tired of it. I don't care if I'm lactose. I'm still going to eat the pizza.
What's your favorite pizza?
Well, I mean, I'm with Prince Street Pizza, but there's a lot of pizzerias out there.
No, but like, what kind?
I like
pepperoni?
a thin slice.
A thin slice.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I don't need much on my pizza. I'm not one of these guys that needs, you know, pepperoni. They need
What do you need on your What do you need on your pie?
I don't need anything.
Just cheese.
Just cheese?
I like it pure, man. Just like, you know, my lady. I like it pure. That's what I tell her. You're beautiful. You don't got to do anything. These women are buying stuff to be like you. I'm like, you just got to be pure. You know what I mean? And so that's why I like my pizza, man. I like it. The more simple, the better. That's what you find. Any of the simplest. It's like when you put on a nice, a rocking suit. You're like, oh man, this is just
like a red suit.
Yeah, the red suit. Red suit.
On that note, you know, I could talk to Nick for freaking years. I know we've got to bring him back because honestly, I want to be able to do your joint or do the pizza joint.
Thanks.
So on behalf of Taboo's Comics and Kicks, I want to say thank you, Nick. I appreciate you. I love you, brother. Thank you for being you.
I love you too, man.
And I can't wait to do another episode with you. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Turturro. That's right, y'all. It's Taboo Nawasha, and I hope you enjoyed geeking out with me and going straight into geek mode. For more information, for more videos, subscribe, like, and comment. Share it with your friends. Much love. There it is.